a new therapist because you're not sure if they're going to be the right fit for you? Well, I've got 5 ways to help you figure out if the therapist that you're choosing is right for you. Now, first off, lots of people come in already and they might have trust issues with therapists because they've had a bad experience. There are bad actors in therapy, like there are bad people posing and imposters that are pretending to be therapists that aren't actually therapists. So, one of the ways, number one, is licensing. Now, we are licensed and we have to adhere to strict ethical guidelines and by our governing bodies to make sure that the public is protected. And that means you and your mental health. So that means no misconduct or anything that's going on that's, inappropriate. So if you have concerns or you think you might have been the victim of that, you can look up on governing boards our licenses, our credentials, and you can see if we are actually who we say we are. If we're in the database, then we are, of course, have the license. Sometimes people don't have the license. We want to make sure that you are seeing a licensed professional if that's what you're looking for, and also that the person has not had any misconduct violations or any ethical issues. Now, there is some issue about licensed versus unlicensed. An unlicensed person doesn't inherently mean unethical. That just means we all at some point had to get our license. So we've all been associates. So if you have an unlicensed person, you also need to think about, how do I feel about that? Am I okay with an unlicensed person? Now, when I was unlicensed and I was an associate, one of my duties was one of my guidelines is I had to let clients know, and it was in intake paperwork even before I saw them, that I was unlicensed and I was being licensed by a licensed clinical psychologist, somebody that was supervising my work. Some people have strong feelings about that, and some people may say, I don't want to work with a trainee. A lot of people did say that, but that's okay. We've got to get our training somewhere. And the way that I thought about it was, look, you're getting actually, you get me and my supervisor. And if I'm stuck on case consultation or conceptualization or some sort of strategy, I have an excellent supervisor who specializes this and is training me in this field. So it was, it helped with competence and confidence as well. So those are some things that you can think about as far as licensing and credentialing. We also have to keep our credentials up and do CEUs and keep our training up to date so we have the best and most effective evidence-based treatments for you. Number 2 way to make sure that your therapist is the right fit for you is rapport. And rapport is really something that we strive for. What that's going to feel like to you is trust. What we talk about is a therapeutic alliance. So we are aligned with you. We're an alliance. And really, that may be difficult to establish for us on the intake session because the intake session is more clinical and it might feel like we're asking you questions and we're really getting to your medical history and your mental health history and if you are on any medications. All of those things take effect, right? So you want to make sure that you feel safety, so you feel good going there, you feel safe, you feel open, you feel heard, you feel supported, all of those things. You may not feel super safe and super, it may feel awkward the first session because it's the intake, but trust will develop in time. So you kind of want to maybe give it a couple of sessions because I don't think any of us can meet a stranger and tell our deepest, darkest secrets and feel safe automatically, especially if you have special circumstances. So if you have been the victim of trauma, and I treat trauma, and so one of the things is like, if I was the victim of domestic violence or abuse from a man and I go to see a male therapist, that might feel really uncomfortable for me to outline all the details that happened if I feel shame or if I'm afraid of men or if I'm really healing from something that was heavy. So it may be in that case that I might want to choose a female therapist. Also, we've got to think about sexuality, expertise, modality, communication styles, gender, culture. Do I want someone that aligns with me on everything? Can I find somebody that aligns with me on all of my factors? Or is it okay if I have a younger therapist or an older therapist? It's all going to be what you prefer, but you want to make sure that you are really looking for that rapport, feeling supported, feeling heard. And again, give it a little time. That stuff will develop, but we definitely don't want you to feel dismissed, judged, anything like that. That's not going to be good. So, and number three, you want to trust your gut. So you might not know if you don't have the right fit. However, thinking, feeling, listening to your body, if you feel like this is automatically not the right fit, then that's something to pay attention to as well. And in trusting your gut, you want to be able to communicate it. Let your therapist know, I don't know if this is the right fit. You don't have to do that in person. You can do it in writing. You can do it in a phone call, in a message, all of those things. And we can help you if it's not the right fit to refer you to someone who might be a better fit or somebody that you might connect with a little bit in a stronger way. So number four, I want you to try and state your needs if you can. This is really hard for people to do. In intake forms, we ask lots of questions. Try and fill it out as much as you can. It may be anxiety producing to put like uncomfortable things down, but try your best to put your symptoms, any anxiety you have about talking to people, all of these different things, because if we don't know anything about you or even why you're there, what symptoms you have, or what the focus of treatment and what you're looking for, it's going to be really hard. We're going to have to pull a lot of information. It's going to take a little longer. So if you can give us some information, that is so helpful for us. And we want to make sure that we communicate just as clear and that we are helping you find what you need. So please try to state your needs. It's okay. We've heard it, and we're here to make sure that you're getting what you need. And so number five, of last but not least, of finding out if this therapist is right for me, is practical and logistical issues. So do I want in-person therapy? Do I want virtual therapy? And if I want in-person therapy and I'm getting in-person therapy, where is the office? Is it close to my home? Is there parking, or do I have to wait and drive around? Is it accessible to my needs? Is there accommodations? Sometimes people like a TV playing, they like coffee, they like do I have to pay for parking? Is it a safe neighborhood if I go and I park, at night? All of those things. And also at night, do I need evening therapy versus morning therapy? And does my therapist provide those hours? If I need weekend therapy and my therapist doesn't provide weekends, then that's going to be tough, right? Also, how do I contact my therapist? And most importantly, what a lot of people talk about right now is fees. So does my therapist take insurance? Do they not? And if they do not, how do I pay you? Do I have to pay right now? And also, a really important thing is sliding scale. A lot of clients are nervous to ask, like, do you take sliding scale? And if you ask and we take sliding scale, and we're happy to, and we have, like, say we have 4 or 5 slots that are sliding scale, we'd be happy to do it if it's accommodating you and if it will work. So there is no harm in asking. And then with those practical and logistical issues, you also want, I think I talked about this before, but you want to talk about modalities. If I'm looking for someone with a certain specific training or a certain modality that they provide, I want to make sure that they know it and they have, the training that I need in it. I'm not going to go to somebody for, narrative therapy or something like that if I want EMDR. So I want to make sure those things match. So all of these things are just things to keep in mind that could help you in the process when you're looking for a new therapist. A little list, if you will, of things that will help you so that you can make sure all of these things are getting crossed off and you're feeling comfortable and you're feeling confident, and those things are going to lend to you feeling more safe in the session and being able to open up and to really get the change that you need and have the outcomes that you want and feel safe and feel open to make change in your life. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and follow. And this is, again, Dr. Becerra with Be Well Psychological Services, and I want you to be well. Thank you.